Good morning and welcome to the DFS YouTube channel. I'm Razzle11 and you can find me on X at Razzle11Grinds. Go ahead and take a look at the pitching for today, the 25th of September. It is Thursday. We do have a 5-game day slate and a 6-game main slate this evening. I believe there are some weather issues to pay attention to. Let me load these up here. We have Baltimore, 40% chance of in-game delay risk. Philadelphia later. New York is the big question mark, 70% chance. Pretty important. New York tied Toronto for the AL East lead. So, becomes an important game. Carlos Rodon is on the mound, I believe. So, we're going to want to pay attention to that. Cincinnati's slight in-game delay risk. So, a few things to kind of pay attention to. Day baseball out in Sacramento with some winds blowing out. Probably a good offensive environment. Framber Valdez is going in that one, so that's interesting. But a reminder, this is a first look at the pitching options on the slate. And I am looking at DraftKings as that is where a majority of my action is. If you play on FanDuel, I'll cut my pool in half or so. Pricing isn't quite as tight. You don't have to be as creative. It allows you to get stacks you want with an upper tier-ish pitcher. All right, let's jump into the games. Pitt, Cincinnati. Definitely interested in Nick Lodolo. Hasn't looked good the last handful of starts. I get it. But, I mean, he showcased a great stretch in July. So it shows us what he's capable of. His K numbers were up last game, but he's allowed 5 home runs over the last 2 starts. A bit worrisome there, but it is Pittsburgh. He did dominate them earlier in the season. He's not as good at home, which we generally would expect for all pitchers not named Hunter Green in that ballpark. I'm still going there at this point with Lodolo. I like the matchup. I'm a sucker for Lodolo's upside. On the other side, Braxton Ashcraft hasn't really been going deep enough now. In September, they've limited him to 4 innings, 70 pitches or so. Can't really expect him to go much more. 33 pitches last time out, was absolutely dominant with those 33 pitches. But I just don't know that it's going to happen today. Pretty dominant against Cincinnati first time he faced them, but again, if I'm only going to get 3 to 4 innings out of him, I just don't think I can get there. If you think every other pitcher on the slate is trash, then maybe, because there are Ks in that Cincinnati lineup, but based on that information, I just don't think we can get to Ashcraft. Tampa Bay and Baltimore. Obviously, weather, big issue there. Drew Rasmussen hasn't been all that solid recently. A high of 11 DK points in September. So recent trend's just not the best. It's not a difficult matchup per se, but I don't know if we can trust him. Doesn't really allow home runs, which is nice going into this ballpark. I think he's in play for me on this slate, but barely. On the other side, Povich, a lefty against Tampa Bay. I'm a little intrigued. There's K upside, but there's also a lot of volatility, a lot of walks. Home runs can happen, but a lot of walks, a lot of base runners. That's the worry. He's going to throw probably 90 pitches to close out his season. So I think there's enough upside for him to be in play for us. He just hasn't been very good in Baltimore. His K rate's stronger, but he's given up a ton of home runs, a lot of walks, etc. A volatile spot. I think Rasmussen is safer, but Povich might have a higher ceiling in this matchup. Minnesota, Texas. Tyler Mahle, second start back. Threw 68 pitches the first one. Might see an increase to 75. I don't think they're going to push him to 80, 85 like a normal increase would be in the season. They were eliminated. He's had a history of arm problems, and he just spent 3 months on the IL with a shoulder issue, pretty sure. I just don't think we can trust him. His numbers at home have been absolutely phenomenal, but I just don't know if I want to go there. If we get 70 pitches in 5 innings, is that enough to be in the winning lineup? I guess maybe, since he just did it in 68 pitches and put up 19.5. A couple extra pitches, you get into the 5th and maybe pick up a win, but I think things have to break a little too perfectly, so I'm going to pass on Tyler Mahle. The other side, Joe Ryan is listed here, but I'm pretty sure a lot of places have Bailey Ober listed. I'm not sure which, route the Twins are going to go here. They did have a doubleheader on the 20th, so the last time each of these guys pitched was against a Cleveland team that's been hot. I don't think I'm going to get to Ober. The Texas lineup is definitely weaker, but his road numbers are atrocious. He's allowed 30 home runs on the season. Struggled against Texas first time he faced them. I'm just going to end up passing on Ober. I would play Joe Ryan if they do go that route, but I think it's going to be Bailey Ober today. Houston and the A's. Let's enter this back. Hunter Brown did not throw very well yesterday. Framber Valdez has not looked good in September. He didn't really look very good in August either. Had one strong start, but that was against Colorado. 4+ runs allowed in 4 straight starts. Do I think he can turn around and just show up in an important game? I do. They're a game out of Detroit for the last wildcard spot. But it's tough. I would mix him in, but I would go real light. He does have, the upside to be the highest scoring raw pitcher on the slate, but he's also been atrocious. And I just don't think he can just snap his fingers and be back to his traditional self. JT Ginn, I think, is in play. Houston has kind of struggled recently. They've lost 5 straight. Definitely a big thing. So, I am interested in JT Ginn. He's pretty solid against Houston so far. Just 1 start, 2 relief appearances. Definitely in play for me. Dodgers, Arizona, Yamamoto, definitely in play. Dodgers, let me take a look here. 2.5 ahead of the Padres. Can move it to 3. Pretty important W out there for him today. Yamamoto's been throwing the ball extremely well. Definitely going to be the top pitching option on this slate. On the other side, Zach Gallen. Throwing the ball really well. I'm seeing places where Jalen Beeks might be opening for him. But I'm interested in Gallen because the D-backs are 1 game out of the last wildcard spot. So it is an important game. Gallen, it's a volatile matchup for sure, but I will use some Zach Gallen. Switching over to the main slate. Cleveland, Detroit. Detroit in a free fall. Just absolutely atrocious. I think they've lost 8 straight. I just can't get to Kiter Montero. The guy that I've been a sucker for in the past, but I'm not using him against this Cleveland offense right now. Parker Messick. There's a ton of strikeouts in the Detroit lineup, and they are struggling. I am going to go to Parker Messick. I love the upside. He's been phenomenal in his 2 starts in Cleveland. I will go there and hope that Detroit keeps sucking. Rodon and the weather in New York. That's a big question. Rodon bounced back after some subpar starts and some decreasing strikeout rates to have a strong performance against Baltimore. Put up 20 against this White Sox team previously. I am in on him as long as the weather clears up or we get a better picture. Not a huge fan of that high in-game delay percentage. Toronto, very important matchup for Toronto against Boston. It's an important matchup for both teams, actually. Boston, 2 games up on Detroit for the middle wild card spot, so I guess it's not as important for Boston. The Toronto battling the Yankees. Looks like they're going with Louis Varland as an opener, would be my guess, because his max is 28 pitches this season. So we'll have to find out who they are looking to follow him up with. Or it could be just a full bullpen game. We'll want to pay attention to that. He's just not in play. He's just not going to go deep enough at all. Brian Bale, the last handful of starts have not been good. They need to get him right. But also I could see them, keeping him in the 70 to 80 pitch target, just because they don't want anything to happen. Probably not a good spot. I was tempted with Bale because Toronto's offense has been struggling of late, but I just don't think I can get there. Mets and Chicago. The Cubs blowing in from center in the 60s, so even though the last 2 games haven't really shown it, it is decent pitching weather. Nolan McLean definitely has plenty of upside, but he is a young pitcher, so there's volatility to him. I will be utilizing him. The weather's still nice for pitching, so I'm going to ride that. Shota, given up a lot of home runs recently. 2 home runs per start allowed over his last 5. That's less than ideal. Wind blowing in could help, but New York has plenty of power. That's dangerous. I'm tempted to actually fade Shota. As weird as it feels, I think right now I'm going to lead towards playing him just because of the weather, but I am really debating going with a fade. Kansas City and the Angels. Mitch Ferris has some upside in his arm, but this just doesn't feel like the spot for me. He made his debut against Kansas City. Was decent, but Kansas City just doesn't strike out all that much, as you saw in his debut. Lorenzen on the other side, coming off of a strong performance against Toronto. He's in play for me, just because the Angels have plenty of strikeouts. He was decent against them the last time he faced them. He's been better when at home, which is where he's not at. He's been worse on the road, which not ideal for sure. His traditional reverse splits would have him in a bad spot in this matchup. He hasn't been that as extreme this season, so it's not as terrible. I'm playing him just because of the K upside, but I'm fully understanding the volatility there, and I will be stacking some Angels. Taylor Ward seems like he's on fire right now. Good bet for a home run if that's something you're looking for. Last game on the day, Colorado, Seattle. I have not seen on some sites where Seattle even has a pitcher listed. So the speculation would be Emerson Hancock. Hasn't pitched in 9 days, at least at the major league level. We're going to want to pay attention. As long as it's a traditional starter type, I think they're in play because it is Colorado and there's plenty of K upside. But we're going to want to know, I will play Hancock if he is starting, but he might not be super stretched out either. But on the other side, Blaylock, I'm not interested in him. 10 home runs allowed over his last 5 starts, 7 over the last 3. Good spot for Seattle. But Seattle probably were out celebrating a bit last night after they clinched the division. Could be a watered down lineup, but I would expect Cal Raleigh to be in it in his battle for the MVP after hitting 2 home runs last night. So pay attention there. I just don't think Blaylock could be really used at all. He did shut down Cleveland, which was weird to see given how hot they've been. But he also was lit up by San Diego, so just not somebody I can get to. But there we have it. There's our first look at pitching. If you enjoy what I bring to you, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on to get the alert anytime we drop videos here at TFS Army. If you want to join us, get access to our coaches, tools, sheets, Discord, etc., I will drop a link in the description below. You can use promo code RAZ, that's R-A-Z, for 10% off monthly. And I will drop the link to the merch store. You can check out our different designs, my design as well. Let me know what you think of the merch, and as always, best of luck, everybody.